All right, so right now we're going to talk about waypoints, routes, and trails. This is something that a lot of people struggle with our Lowrance units, and hopefully this quick tutorial will help you kind of get through the basics of exactly how things are going. So waypoints are a point on the map of latitude and longitude. So as you see, you have waypoints, routes, and trails right across the screen. You have easy access to them, and anytime you push any of those buttons, it's going to give you a list of your waypoints, routes, and trails. Waypoints, routes, and trails are a function of the actual map itself. So if you hit chart, you'll see new waypoints. There are two ways to be able to take a new waypoint. Number one, I can hit new waypoint, and that's going to take that right at my vessel. So I'm going to close that right now for now, discard. If I want to put a crosshair on the screen, which would not actually use my present position, I can also say new, and I can say new waypoint, and it will start to save a waypoint. Now, a couple of things here that you want to check out specifically that would be in here. Number one, here's the name of the waypoint. I have the ability to name it. I'm going to name it new, and enter. So I've got my new waypoint up there. Maybe I want to change the latitude and longitude. Maybe the crosshairs weren't exactly right. Maybe I have latitude and longitude points that I want to put into the system. I can change that here, and I can adjust based on what I want to. So this will basically go through each number, and then I just change that number to, like, say, a 3. And then I say OK, and as you can see, that 3 changes. I have a couple of more options here on the waypoint, so I can put in notes on the waypoint. Let's say good fishing area, right? I just tap that and I can actually do that. I can display icon name, icon, or I can do a hidden waypoint. Sometimes hidden waypoints are pretty good. I want to put in the depth. I have the ability to put the depth in, and I have the ability to put the alarm radius in there. How close do I need to be in order to be that? Now, keep in mind, this is the default waypoint button right here, but if I hit that point, you know, I could change it. Maybe it's a good fishing spot, so I want to change that to a fish. Whatever I want to do. Maybe I want to change it to a different color fish because there is, you know, salmon there or something like that. If I do that, I'll change it to a pink fish, and then I know that's there, and then I press save, and then I have my waypoint there, so I can hit back. So if I want to see my waypoint, or I want to go to the waypoint, you know, I've got a big list of waypoints here, but if I roll down all the way to the bottom, I'm doing that now. A lot of waypoints in here, as you can see. Then at the end of this list, which is a very big list, sorry about that, guys, I am going to see at the end of this list a fish there that I've made. And so anyway, he's down there, and while we're here, I'll go ahead and say new route and new trails just to let you see it and the like. So we go back to the page, and we've got our waypoint saved in the memory. So that's a simple way to make a waypoint. Another way to make a waypoint is if I hit that, I hit this, and at my position, I could basically press and hold the waypoint key, or actually just quick press the waypoint key, and I start to save a waypoint at that location. So that's just a quick way to get into that. So quick press. Some of them require you to hold, some of them require you to do that. Keep in mind, all of these buttons right here, they do something different when you press them, or when you quick press them, or when you hold them. Like the power button, if you hold it for a long amount of time, it's going to turn the unit off. If you quick press it, it's going to take you to your basic quick press settings. So that's waypoints. I'm sure there's a lot more to be able to get there, but not in this video. If I go to routes, I can go into a new route, right? And I new route. I name my route. I'm going to name it Route 1 for now. And then I may want to add my waypoint. So if I'm going to add a leg, I'm going to press insert, and then I have a list of all of my waypoints here. As you can see right now, they're not displaying anything, but if I know my symbols or know what have you, I can just basically just keep inserting waypoints. Now that is one way to do it. I'm going to discard those changes for right now. If I go to my chart menu, I can also say new route, and I can touch that point and then touch each additional point along this area, and I'm basically making a route by touching the screen. Whenever I'm done with that route, you know, I'm on a bigger map right now, but let's say you're on the lake, and I'm gonna save that in there, route 1, enter, and then I've saved a big, huge route right there. So let's say I'm on the lake, and I'm gonna zoom into that lake. This is a lake just north of where we are in Tulsa. But let's say I want to go into my menu, go into new, and a new route. Let's say I've got a couple of different fishing spots along the side that I'm wanting to do, and I'm wanting to go to each one of these individual things and just basically navigate along that point. Now I have a route, and I'm gonna say route 2, enter, and then when I go back into my routes, I'll see route 2, and I can start navigating the route. Let's say I had an XI5 trolling motor, I could navigate it. But if I hit show, it's gonna go right to my route where I set it, and I know exactly where it is, and I know exactly how it's set up. So keep in mind, that's a really great little thing. So routes, basically a good way to describe routes are point-by-point navigation along a pre-planned route. So these are things that these are either waypoints that you have saved in the unit, or these are places that you are just basically pointing point to point to point to point along there, just basically pre-planning a fishing trip. So that's something to keep in mind. Now trails. Trails can be fun, so keep in mind, most of you are going to be dealing with trails. So as you see, I have a trail on there. Basically, it's 72 points on there. So basically, if I'm going to do a new trail, something to keep in mind. This is the trail box. So this is where you're going to start a new trail from. So if I'm on the lake and I want to start a new trail, I'll just hit trails and I'll go new trail. So new trail, very similar to new waypoint, is going to be naming it, which I'll name it. I'm going to say trail 2. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to maybe change it. Maybe I don't want that to be that blue color. I want to see it, so I'm going to put it on pink. So it's bright against the screen. And then I'm going to look at these 2 buttons. These 2 buttons are probably the most important buttons on the screen. They are display and record. Now, this button right here, display, this is basically, I want to see this trail behind me running down the lake, or I don't. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm fishing. Maybe I don't want to see the trails all over the place, especially if I have a lot of trails. Maybe I don't want to put a lot of trails on there, or maybe I want to just have them hidden for a little while. If I press off, that will allow me to do that. If I go into display, this is where I want them to show up on the map, or I don't want to show them. I don't want them to show up on the map. So that's the case. So let's say that basically just turns it on or off. Now record is a little bit different. Record, what it does is it's basically I like to think of somebody with breadcrumbs out the back of my boat, because that's basically what record is doing. It's dropping trail points along your positions. So if you are recording, I'll usually start my trail with off, travel out to the lake or river area that I'm fishing in, go into my trail, press on, and then when I press that on, immediately it starts dropping trail points behind me. So I immediately want to start to hit the gas on my boat. So when I press save, it's going to start recording. Maybe I don't want it to start off right away, so I'm going to press off for now, just to show you how easy it is to get into the record function. So if I have off, that's basically off there. And so, hey, I want to describe it. I want to say this is a good crappie trail or a good walleye trail. Maybe I want to describe that in the description box. I just hit that and I can type that in. Really quick description. And when I press save, as you can see, this is off. So I currently have this one on, and I can turn that off because it's laying trail points behind me. So I want my trails to work for me, right? So if I go out to the lake, I'm fishing along the lake river that I'm fishing in, and I go to trails, and hey, I'm ready to start my pink trail there. So I'm going to turn that on, and then I'm on the lake and it starts dropping trail points behind me. So that is a great thing. Now keep in mind, let's say I'm done with my trail and I want it to end, and so I turn it off. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, I want that trail to turn off. Now my trail stopped dropping trail points. It's like telling the guy in the back of the boat, hey, don't stop dropping breadcrumbs, right? So that basically is the way in which you're going to navigate a trail. You're going to make trails. So you'll be able to see the trails as you go, and you'll be able to look at them in the light. So basically, waypoints are all of your waypoints, latitude, longitude, position. Routes are all of the pre-planned routes that you have, and trails are all of the trails that you've left behind from previous fishing trips. Easy way to get into those, and an easy way to be able to navigate those. So if you have any questions, feel free to email us or give us a call, and we'd be more than happy to explain this in further detail or further. But this is hopefully will explain a lot of questions about waypoints, routes, and trails. Take care. Have a great day.